If you're anything like me, you love pushing out content every single day. From YouTube videos to podcasts to blog posts to Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn, just flooding the market with your value in the hopes that it draws in new customers. Now that's not a bad strategy, and actually it works super well for my business, but only because I'm doing this other thing in tandem with it that I'm going to be teaching you today. Welcome back to the Bonaventure MS Digital Marketing Show. My name's Jonathan, and today I want to talk to you about the strategy that you have to be applying if you're going to be publishing content at an extreme level like you probably are right now, right? Now, I've spoken to a lot of people over the last few months, really like between 2 and 4 phone calls every single day with prospects, and one of the most common threads that I've noticed is that everybody I talk to seems to have the belief that if they just put out more content, they're going to draw in clients, right? And this usually leads to one of two conclusions when I'm on the phone with someone like this. One is, hey, I want to be putting out more content. Can you help me do that? And I'm like, no, that's not really what I do. So they're like, oh, okay, bye. Or number two, they tell me, everything that you're saying sounds really amazing. I would love to be implementing that, but let me try putting out content first. And this is such a bad strategy, and essentially you're just sabotaging yourself and wasting your time if you're not going to be implementing this other strategy with it. So let me tell you a story. I was coming home from the gym the other day, and I do love working for myself, really for a lot of reasons, but this is one of the main ones. I can wake up not too early in the morning, head over to the gym, right, leisurely stroll in a sweater, the weather's starting to get super nice, get my workout in, slowly walk back home, shower, lunch, sit around, think a little bit, write some stuff, and then my first phone call comes up at 1 p.m., right? So my first phone call comes up, and I get on the phone with this guy, and just literally within seconds, he's bogging me down with his obvious exhaustion. It's, when you can feel negative vibes through the phone? I'm sure you've had that before. And just like he's telling me about his problems, and I like to start my phone calls off on a high note, right? So I'm like, tell me about your mission, your purpose, your passion, whatever, just to get the ball rolling and to get to know my prospect a little bit. I didn't even get the time to say that to him. My very first question, I was like, hey, how's your week been? He's like, oh, it's been garbage, da-da-da. And then he starts telling me about his problems. So I cut him off and I'm like, hey, listen, buddy, how about instead of talking to me about your problems, you tell me what is causing these problems so we can diagnose it and we can fix it. And he retorts, well, I've been putting out content every single day and I'm still not getting any customers, which means that he's working 12-hour days, right? Creating videos, doing Facebook Lives, sending out written content, trying to get guest blog posts, writing his own blog posts, doing stuff on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. So the production, the post-production, the editing, everything that goes into that, he told me it's taking him 12 hours a day. And he's able to do this because he doesn't have any clients right now. But it was really draining him over the last few months since he's been doing this, because he's doing it with no tangible results whatsoever, which means in his mind, he's just getting so frustrated because everything that he's doing is essentially pointless, right? And that led me to explain to him, and I want to explain it to you at the same time, that there are 2 types of marketing, right? There's what we call brand marketing, and then there's direct response marketing. So brand marketing is like when you see a billboard and it says, hey, drink some Coca-Cola, it's really good, right? That builds brand recognition. The billboard's not asking you to do anything, it's just saying, hey, Coca-Cola is really good, so that next time you walk into the supermarket, you can look around in the soft drink aisle, you're like, I could try Pepsi, I could try knockoff brand, but I know that Coca-Cola is really good. So that's the one that you go for. That is branding. That's like what I'm doing right now. No calls to action, just putting out your name and getting people to recognize who you are. Now, this would be an effective strategy if ever there was some kind of supermarket on the internet where people could log in and look through all of the different services, pick the one that they want, and then see all the people offering these services and pick the one they want most, right? Branding, name recognition, that's where all of that comes into play. But that doesn't exist online. So what do we have to do instead? We need to do direct response. So direct response is when you include calls to action within your content, okay? So you can either weave that into your branding content. For example, if I were to be delivering this speech and I said, hey, by the way, if you want to learn more about how you can weave calls to action within your branding content without being too salesy or without being too pitchy, head over to whatever website. Anyway, and then I continue my story, right? So that's one really easy way to do it, but that's not how I do it, obviously, just because my limit for the amount of clients I can have is so low that if I start doing that and I get a rush of clients, then my business goes to garbage because then I'm on the phone even more than I already am right now and I have no time to work. So the other way that you can apply direct response is by actually actively reaching out to the people who you know are, I'm going to say like victims, who are in your ecosystem from your branding content, right? So imagine if you've got your billboard up that says Coca-Cola is really great, but the person has no way to go to a grocery store to buy Coca-Cola. So instead what you do is you send out a salesman, and your salesman goes and he knocks on their door. And they open the door, they see he's got the Coca-Cola cap, he's got the red Coca-Cola t-shirt, or I guess polo probably, because he's in an affluent neighborhood, right, in this little scenario. So he knocks on the door, they open, and she pulls out her wallet, she's like, wow, I know you're the Coca-Cola guy, I've been waiting for you, here's my money, right? And then she just buys a case of Coca-Cola, walks back inside, the guy makes his commission of 80 cents, and he moves on to the next door. That's essentially what direct response is. It's actively reaching out to those people, offering them what you have to sell them, and then letting the people who are interested because of your branding content take you up on your offer. And the way that you can do that online, really, there aren't too many strategies, but there are three big ones that I can think of. The first is with ads and retargeting, right? So if you put out branding content and then you use ads to target anybody who's seen your content and move them into a sales process, that's a really great way to do it. Number two is that you can weave your calls to action within your branding content, like I mentioned, but again, I don't have any examples of that, so I'm not going to promote that because I feel like it'd be just like, hey, do this, but here's no instruction, right? So there's that way. And then there's way number three, which is how I do it, and that's through direct messaging. I do it mostly through LinkedIn, and the results that I've found have been amazing because people who are in my network on LinkedIn, when I get them on the phone, a lot of the time, they're already pre-sold. Right? They've already seen the content that I'm putting out. They know I've got expert status. They've watched me. They've done the things that I've been talking about, and it's worked for them. So the minute I send them a message, I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm looking for clients. Do you want to be my client? And they say yes. We get on the phone. I'm like, okay, here's what I'm doing. They're like, I love it. I'm like, this is how much they cost. They're like, I love it. And then the sale happens, right? So you have to find a way to use direct response in tandem with your branding content, or nothing is really going to work out very well for you at all. Because customers aren't just going to flock to you because you're putting out branding content, right? You still need to reach out. So maybe cut down the time that you're spending on your branding content, increase the time that you're doing direct response, and that will make everything so much better for you as you move into the future. So on that, I'm going to leave you. Have an amazing day. Hopefully you can go out and figure out how to apply different strategies in your business to get new clients while working with your branding content. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to teach you exactly what's going wrong in your business and help you fix those problems. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Yeah.